Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another real raw episode of the My Inner Tiger podcast. Hello. Today, I want to talk about navigating a shitty day. It's so funny that the last episode I recorded was titled Harnessing Happiness. It's a good one, so go back and listen if you haven't already. But what's so interesting is that I recorded that about 4 or 5 days ago, maybe, from now when I'm recording this one. And I'd say probably the day after, or maybe 2 days after recording that episode, I started moving into some real issues physically, mentally, emotionally, and I can explain why, but I thought it was so funny and typical of the universe to have me on this high talking about happiness and then shoot me down to this big low and be like, why isn't anything working? Why aren't my tools working to harness my happiness? So of course, I'm thrown right back into another uncomfortable situation of learning and growing, which I always look at these little valleys of what's the word, like struggle maybe, to find out, I see them as growing opportunities. Back in the day, earlier in my life, I just hated them and tried to drink them away or ignore them or shove them down or find something to just distract me from feeling what I'm feeling, going through what I'm going through, pop some ibuprofen to get rid of some aches and pains, like I was just looking for a Band-Aid all the time. So now that I've taken away all of my vices, all of my my substances for, masking pain and struggle, I just look at it as, hey, what am I learning? What am I moving through? How is this going to work for me? And it doesn't, sometimes I know in the moment, but I usually don't know until afterwards. But I can pick up little nuggets along the way that I'm like, oh, this is working for me. Oh, this is working for me. Oh, this is working for me. And that's kind of what I want to share today in this episode. So the last few days, let me just give you some background on what it's been like for me. The last few days have not been hell. They haven't been god awful, but they've just been uncomfortable. So I've been working with this amazing functional medicine doctor. I've mentioned that before. And she is working with lots of parts of my body, one being my hormones. When I first saw her, we did some testing. We did tons of testing. And we learned many things, but one piece of what we learned was that my hormones had basically been on E for quite some time. Now, I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I haven't had a period for like a couple years. Turns out that the reason is because of massive mold exposure. So I'll be doing a lot more podcasting on functional medicine and toxicity exposures and detoxing and all that stuff, because that's been a lot of what I've been moving through lately. But anyway, so working with her, she's waking my hormones up from the dead. This is the way I see it. So that's causing me to be more irritable lately. It's causing me to be more, have very intrusive thoughts. It's causing me to just, my emotions to be kind of up and down. It's causing massive amounts of bloating and fatigue. I have been craving sweets like for weeks, and I'm not usually a sweets person. So, then that's kind of making me gain a little bit of weight. So then that's not fun. Then I'm beating myself up for that. And it's, I'm on this circle, this cycle of, slightly destructive behavior. Nothing crazy, but it's just been uncomfortable. It's been a little bit of a struggle for me. And so this morning I woke up and it was kind of the worst. So yesterday I had a massage. You know when you get like a really deep massage and it sort of loosens up a lot of toxins in your body and you start to feel like maybe you're getting sick? Well, I don't think I'm getting sick, but I just felt on top of this big layer of bloatedness, which I know all of my female listeners can relate to. I had this extra like layer of mucus, sort of. So it was just like, I did not want to get out of bed. And so I pushed myself. I'm a mother. I had to get out of bed. And everything was running late. Like, I got out of bed late. My son got out of bed late. He was a little bit tired this morning. My husband always leaves to go to the gym a little early. So I'm just really like pushing through. And I started noticing today, like more noticing what I'm doing, noticing what I'm thinking. And I noticed like I'm trying so hard to hurry up and get his lunch packed and get him fed and get all this stuff done to get him out the door to school on time. And what I did differently today was I was like, you know what? Let's just stop and think about what is really important. What is most important? What's most important to me right now is that we all remain calm and prioritize what's important. Can he be a little bit late to school today? Yes, he can, because who's holding it over us to say he has to be there on time? No one. This is all kind of made up. Of course, we want to be timely in our life, but today we already have a lot working against me and us. Let's see where we can push the boundary here and be okay with it and not beat myself up that I'm getting him to school late. So I said, you know what? I'm taking down this hardcore deadline to get him to school on time, and I'm giving us a little bit of cushion because today we need it. We need this grace today, right? And then I skipped some things, like I didn't brush his teeth, which I always brush his teeth. So today I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to choose that battle. We're just going to make a baby step and get out the door, right? And so it was like nice because I let all this like high expectation of what needs to be done go. And I allowed myself the cushion and the time to cater to how I was feeling without beating myself up. Okay, so this is a huge difference in maybe how I used to function versus how I'm learning to give myself some leeway and move through, these shitty days, if you will, right? Because sometimes let's be honest, we just wake up and we have a lot of things working against us. So we need to buffer ourselves. We need to buffer our time. So I get him to school, great. And then I did not want to do anything, but I was like, all right, what can I do that's going to be a small step that will be a big win? Maybe something I don't want to do right now, but I can do. So I went straight from drop-off to the grocery store. And I had my list, which was good. And I was like, all right, I don't want to be here, but I'm going to get this done so that I can get home. And when I got home, I was like, wow, like I'll take that win. And I celebrated like, okay, that was a great one, right? I mean, sometimes we forget to celebrate the fact that like we're moving through something in our body. We don't have to be so hard on ourselves. And then I typically would have this voice in the back of my head saying like, you need to exercise, you need to work out. And I've been wanting to start this program. I booked into this program and I haven't started yet because my body has just not wanted to. Now, old me would normally have been like, either push through and do this workout because, hey, hardcore, this is what we do. And that's good sometimes. Don't worry. Like sometimes that's going to make you feel better. And maybe it would make me feel better. But my body, I listened to my body and I said, what do you want? And it was like, I'm bloated. I'm physically not doing well. I really don't want to push myself in a workout right now. Okay, I gave myself that. There's different days where pushing to a workout would probably be a great win. For me, today was not the day, and that's okay. But I had a great win at the grocery store. And then I have a lot of laundry and cleaning on my list of things to do today, right? So then I was dreading it, but I was like, you know what? Little by little by little. And then I turned on some music. If you haven't ever turned on 432 hertz music, like go on YouTube and listen to 432 hertz. It's like really in sync with the frequency of human beings, like what the frequency that we're built. It's a whole thing. So listen to that. It really tends to calm you down. Then I was like, as I'm cleaning, I'm like listening to this. I have this human design app, which is awesome. And it inspired me to like, take these little step-by-steps, these little wins, and then start to prioritize my day. I'm like, okay, yes, you have this to-do list, but what actually lights you up? And I started thinking like, well, what lights me up all the time is sharing on a podcast, helping others, coaching others. And I don't have any clients today, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go record a podcast because this is starting to feel good. I'm moving through a shitty day, but because I'm taking ownership of my thoughts, I'm not letting them control me. I'm taking ownership of little wins and celebrating them. I'm taking ownership of what my body really wants today. And it's not to push it. It's not to exercise and push it. On another day it might be, but not today. And it's to slow down and be present with myself and do things that light me up. And that to-do list is there, and I'm knocking things off and I'm moving slowly, but I'm not needing to like do to like, just destroy this day. Because some days are for that and some days are not. And I'm being patient with myself and I'm giving myself leeway and I'm just giving so much space to myself to navigate step by step by step by step what makes me feel good. What I know I need to do these things. I know I have to do laundry. I know I need to clean the house. I know I need to go to the grocery store. These are like all things that have been backed up for me and I'm going to get that done today, but I'm not trying to rush it all. But you know what I'm also not doing? I'm also not shutting down. I'm not going straight to my old pattern default of maybe I'll just lay down and watch TV, or maybe I'll just sit down and scroll social media. Because those things, yes, they give us dopamine at one point, like that's, what we're doing with all this technology in our lives. We're so drawn to it because it gives us dopamine, but I know it's not going to really benefit me in the long run. So what's really going to benefit me today, and what is a small step I can do along the way? Just one small step at a time with tons of grace for myself. And I just wanted to share that because, again, if I look back to old me, old patterns, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing, they were destructive. And I'm new now. Like I'm different now. I've changed fundamentally from all of the work I've done, on myself over the past few years. And it feels good. It feels nice. And we're always, no matter how much work you do on yourself, the other side of like the destructive habits are always sitting right there. They're always available, right? They never go away. They're always there. But how can we continue to choose the more constructive habits, the things that serve us as opposed to the destructive ones? Make sense? So it's just a short little episode. I just wanted to share what I was going through today. This lights me up. Sharing lights me up. And I hope that you gain something from it. And again, anyone who is looking for some extra one-on-one help in their life to really push themselves to the next level for the life that they know that is possible for them, for you, let me know. Send me an email, send me a DM on social media. All my information is in the show notes. I would love to talk to you about what it's like hiring a coach. And I hope that you have a fabulous rest of your day.